Hello friends, welcome back. Today we will be seeing functions in Python. So let us start coding. So a function basically starts with a def keyword. You need to define a function first in order to call it. Function basically, like whenever you use a function, say for instance print function, those are inbuilt function, right? Print is a function that we have already seen. So input, taking user from taking input from the user, so that we made use of input function. These are all inbuilt functions. These are predefined functions. What if I want to, or we want to create our own function? So what we will do today, we will create our own function. These are called user defined functions, right? So in order to create a function, you first need to define it, and only then you can call it, or in simple words you can use it. First you need to define. So how to define? You start off using the def keyword, def. So def, after def you need to mention the name of the function. Here we'll simply add, we'll add three numbers, say n1, n2, n3. So the input to the function would be three arguments, three numbers I need to pass, only then this function will work. Now here what I'll do, I'll simply say s equals to, s equals to simply n1 plus n2 plus n3. You have the sum in s. Now what you need to do, or you can simply print the input numbers are this, comma. You can use any of the print function method. Like you have two options. You can make use of any one. I have made use of the dot format. So the input numbers are, I need to, like what my intention here is, I'll first show what were the input numbers, and then I'll produce the sum. So the input numbers were n1, n2 and n3. After this what I'll do, I'll print the sum of the numbers is, now where do you get this from? You get this from dot format s. Return, every function has to return some value, right? So I'm returning the sum of that value that would be stored somewhere. So this is how you define it. I'll execute this cell. There is no error, simply it got executed. Now I need to call. So what I'll do is, I'll say a equals to add 4, 5, 6. This is how you call a function, right? What I have done, I have made use of the name of the function, and this function takes three arguments, n1, n2, n3. So I need to pass three numbers to it. So 4 will get stored in n1, 5 will get stored in n2, 6 will in n3. So that is how it would be. And finally what will happen is, although these two lines I have written here, which would print what are the numbers and what is the sum, this function always will return the sum, and that sum which would be returned would be stored in a. So after this, like when I execute this, the input numbers are 4, 5, 6. This is what is the print statement that I have written here, and the sum is 15. 4 plus 5 plus 6 is 15. Now what if I comment this two lines here, or for instance what if I comment only the sum line here, and when I run this, when I call this, I don't have the sum, right? So in order to get the sum value, you need to, where is the sum? The sum is present in a, because the function returned the sum. Keep in mind, any function, any user defined function, if it is doing some mathematical operation, will return a value. right? So here we are doing some mathematical operation, and that sum has to be written. That S is written and is stored in A. Now if I execute this, the input numbers are 4, 5, 6, and I have simply printed A. So the value of that sum is in A. So you can do it in this way, or you can simply remove this print, comment out this thing, and you can execute it again. So this is how you define a function and then you call a function. Now I have an exercise for you. If at all you would like to try it out, here is a code wherein I have simply taken an input from the user, the temperature in degrees, and what I have done, I have simply according to the value that he or she has entered, I will say whether it's hot or cold or it's okay. So here I take an temperature in degrees, and that temperature is passed to the function temp, like temp of A. This is where I call the function temp of A. What is it doing? If A is greater than equals to 100, you are saying it is hot. If it is in the range 61 to 99, you say it's just right. Else what you say, if it is less than 61, it is cold. So I request you to try it out on your own. Similarly, you have this example. This is again a good example to have. Here what the scenario is, a user will be asked to enter his marks, enter the percentage of marks. So when the percentage is entered, and that would be out of 100, right? So if the marks are greater than equals to 40, only then you are getting into all this first class, second class distinction. If the marks are less than 40, you simply say you have failed and go study, and you can print anything, right? So here I start off by saying if m is greater than equals to 40, we are assuming that this statement would be executed only if the marks entered are more than 40. Now in this we need to bifurcate. If those marks are greater than equals to 70, so you have printed that you have passed in distinction. This is okay. Now this is important. The next statement is important. You have passed in distinction. No more marks are needed to improve your marks. Just relax and enjoy. That is what I have said. Now this is important. Else if it is in the range 60 to 70, the marks are in the range 60 to 70, what do you say? You have passed in first class. This is okay. And you need, what I am suggesting, like here, I'll just execute this and let you know what exactly I am trying to explain here. Say for instance I enter percentage 65. Now I just don't want to the system to print you have passed in first class. I also want the system to print how much more percentage of marks I need to get into the next higher class. So here what happens is my system prints you have passed in first class and you need 5% of marks to get a distinction. Obviously first class student would be trying it for distinction, second class would be trying it for first class. So keeping that in mind, what I have written here is this is important here. You have passed in first class and you need this many percentage of marks to get into distinction. How did I get this percentage? Simply what I did is, when I am saying 70 is distinction, so 70 minus whatever the percentage of marks the user has entered, that many percentage of marks is needed to get into the higher level. So this is again an interesting example. You must try it out. So this is all about functions in Python. We'll be seeing slicing of strings in the next video. Thanks for watching.